What is going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to episode... To be honest, I don't know what episode it is, but welcome to the next installment of the Winter Chills podcast. And today we have quite the full table here. So we'll just go ahead and introduce all the members of the cast this fine evening. We got Adam here.
What's up, guys? Pleasure to be back as always.
Yep, you guys know Adam. He's been on, I think, every single podcast. Mr. Daniel over here.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome back, sir. And our newest addition.
Ooh, what's going on, everyone?
Mr. C. Goody.
I've been on the channel a couple times.
Yes, you guys have seen him on several feature matches. He's been on in several deck profiles, playing like Invoke Shaddoll, Tri Brigade twice, I think.
Sailman Great a long time ago.
Sailman Great a very long time ago. Yeah, like in what, like 2019?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Or early 2020, I can't remember, but, you know.
Yeah, so he's been on the channel before, you guys, but this is first time on the podcast. But before we go any further into the podcast, I want to let you guys know a few quick ways you can support the channel. First is, if you guys are shopping on TCG Player, please do not forget to use my affiliate link found in the description of all my videos. Anytime you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase goes right back in the channel and helps out a ton. And if you guys are buying anything on ImperiumDuelist.com, that's where both of these mats here on the table are from. The Designator's Mansion mat over here, and then the Millennium 4.0, I believe, all available for sale currently. And they have new tournament sleeves available. I've been using them all night for testing, and they are really good. So if you guys want to get some amazing products, check them out, the link below. And don't forget to use my discount code WinterKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. So with all that out of the way, the first thing we're going to be doing is talking about you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Since this is your first time, I think everybody else that's been on here has done this. So the first question I'm going to ask you, and you guys feel free to, if I'm forgetting anything, to chime in, but how long have you been playing this wonderful game?
I've been playing on and off since I was like a little kid. I used to like love Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, but you know, competitive wise, I would say I started like getting good around 2014 or 13ish, around there. Okay. Yeah, it was a little bit before I met Dan, but around there, yeah. Like I'm gonna say 2014 was, you know, competitive wise.
Okay. And what was your first competitive deck?
First competitive deck was Geargia.
Geargia?
Yes.
Okay. And then I guess another two things I'll ask on top of that. Favorite format and favorite deck you've ever played to this current day.
My favorite format, I have a few of them, but I'm going to say, like, you know, the all-around best format, in my opinion, has to be 2014. It's standard. 2014. I mean, everyone says it, but it has to be, right?
Because like, D-Rulers.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Duelist Alliance format.
That was right after Dragon Rulers and stuff.
Or right after that, yeah.
Because, like, Teller Knights...
Shaddoll, Burning
Abyss, Cliff Fort, and then the Yang Zhang was somewhere in there, right? Necroz was later.
Yeah, that was like
that was when it
2015.
came unfair. Okay, that was when it was unfair.
True.
But yeah, that was probably the most fair format. But my favorite format personally was probably with the 2018 Trickstar Striker and Striker. That was like my favorite format. I don't know why I like the Goki format and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that was like my favorite format.
Okay.
oddly,
Gross.
but I liked it a lot.
Goki Extra Link.
Yeah, I thought that was like when they introduced the U-Link, and I just really liked Striker a lot. And like, I don't know, I liked Altergeist. Like, I don't know, it seemed fair enough. I just had a lot of fun. I think that's like when I started like traveling a little more. I think that's probably why I like it a lot.
Okay. And then favorite deck of all time that you've ever played?
Favorite deck of all time to this day is Fire Fist. What was it, the 4.0 access or whatever?
4 access.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I don't know why.
I respect that.
I'm just a Beast Warrior duelist.
He is. He plays Tri Brigade all the time. He said he was gonna play Dragon Link, and he's still playing Tri Brigade.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's hooked. I
can't
guess.
get off it.
But yeah. So that is a little bit of backstory on Colin here, and again, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. No problem.
Don't forget C Goody 17 on DB.
Oh
yes,
my God.
on Blue Book C Goody 17. You can money match him if you want.
Yeah, I mean, you could if you want, but I mean, I'm you know, shying off of DB a little bit because you know, events are back. Let's go. I know we're gonna start talking about that today,
yeah,
but
we will.
We're no more DB's kind of mids, as Adam would say.
Fair enough. I think everybody has their gripes with DB, so
yeah.
But our first topic that I want to get into is Synchro Storm, which is a set that admittedly is being a little overshadowed by what's coming out next week. And it's the elephant in the room. It's literally right behind us.
Elephant, yeah.
But Synchro Storm, it did introduce some cool things in the game. I think mainly the star of the show is Baron de Fleur, which me and Adam were playing some matches before these bozos got here.
Fine gentlemen.
And so funny story, because this will be going up a lot earlier than the first episode of One Deck a Month for Speedroid. That's probably going to go up not next Saturday, maybe the following Saturday after that. But in that, and only people in Discord have heard this, but I bought 5 boxes of Synchro Storm because I'm playing Speedroid, and there's a lot of good Speedroid cards in there. You guys know this. You guys, I've ingrained it into your skulls at this point, and I bought 5 boxes. And out of those 5 boxes I opened, no Baroness, and only... Oh, I did get my 2 Cork Shooter, but it took me 5 boxes, which is a lot of boxes.
That's ridiculous.
For just 2 Cork.
And I went to my LGS, which is like literally 5 minutes down the main drag, and I got 5 boxes, 3 for me, 1 for Adam here, and I also picked up 1 for my friend Alex, who has been on the podcast. We're all good friends with him. And I picked up 1 for him. I opened my 3 boxes, all right, no Baron, and then we're on Discord later that night, and he's like, yo, just stream the pack opening, and I stream it for him, and his 3rd ultra rare in, Baron de Fleur.
Baron, let's go, baby.
So we were calling him the Baron of Buffalo because he was the only one, I want to say, for almost like 24 hours, who was the only one in Buffalo who had a
primal
copy of
Baron, if you will.
So his Baron was going to be the village bicycle for me.
Pretty much.
Until I was able to get
for
my
whoever
hands...
needs it, because I'm not playing in my deck right now.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean... borrowed it for a little bit, but luckily somebody else like a day later pulled one, so I've got my own copy now. So could
have just bought the singles, man. That's all I'm saying.
That's the thing. I am a firm believer of singles, but this time around I really wanted the cards in time for the tournament tomorrow because you guys know that the tournament we're doing is not like a standard tournament we do, and it's... Get this crazy prize for guys. A lot in line. 1 OTS mat with the new Red Eyes link on it. The Red Eyes Dark Metal link.
So the mat do look kind of gas.
It do look gas.
There's some little bit of bragging rights. You can be like, I won the mat, or you get a field center. So I wanted to make sure I had the
deck profile for the channel.
Fair enough. Because you gotta go 5-0 this time, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because we usually, for those that don't know, we usually do 4 rounds of Swiss or locals, and we don't do top cut. Which people have mixed feelings on. I would like to do top cut here and then every now and then, but it's the start time with our locals that kind of prevents us from doing that.
Yeah.
But for this one, if there's multiple 4-0s at the end, they're gonna duke it out until there's only 1 4-0 and they get the mat, and then top 8 from there on out. So got the card in time for that. And also one interesting fact too is out of those 5 boxes I got, and you saw this, Alex saw it, 2 ultra rares in every box. Copy of Necrosynchron and Sage's Fleur, which had to be like the worst ultra rares in the set. All 5 of those boxes I bought from Highland Hobby, 5 in a row, 2 of the same ultra rares, every single box.
Wow,
that's disgusting.
That is horrible.
It doesn't make any sense.
By the time I had opened my 5th box, I was ready to rip every Necrosynchron I saw in half. Even a box. Even 2 of the boxes I got from Hog had Necrosynchrons in it too. It was just like every box
That's
I
wild.
opened had
I mean,
one
I don't know
in
too
it.
much about the set, to be honest, but that sucks.
Yeah, it's just like imagine buying a bunch of Bode sets and then you keep
get the
pulling
same thing,
the Snowl.
Magistus Synchro monsters, your only secret.
Oh, that does suck.
5 boxes of
I
Bode in a
feel
row,
ya.
imagine that.
I feel you. Yep.
And I guess the last thing we'll talk about is like obviously like I mean Baron's the only impactful meta relevant card in that set, and I just thought it was funny when I was playing you and I was summoning the card and there was like 2 instances.
I was like, wait, what does that do?
He's like, wait,
it does all
he's
that?
He's like, this card is so good every time because the standby phase effect. He thought it was only during my standby.
Your standby phase.
But I'm like, no, it's during the standby phase.
And I was like,
I used it to tag out to a crystal wing the one time, and then the pop effect. I popped one of his back row to force out a drop, and he's like, it's any card. So 2 times he had to double take twice on a card like that.
I thought it was just like face ups, but not just any card. It's like, all right.
Yeah, so
that's a fair card, I guess.
Fair
Right?
and balanced.
yeah, and I mean, I think we all agree the card's probably only gonna see play in Sword Soul and obviously Speedroid, but like any deck that can make a level 10 synchro, I think Sword Soul is gonna be the only deck that can actively make it.
Easily.
I don't think
Probably,
VW
yeah.
is gonna make it.
They could, but they have to do some like awkward routes and or play like worse cards, like
Yeah.
more bricks. So
Mhm.
So
we'll
they could
just
only really
see.
come off as like Gamma during their turn.
Either Gamma,
Like the weird situation where that comes up.
yeah, Gamma, or like they have to play like Phantasma again, which is kind of mid.
Yeah, true. Actually,
Which is it's okay, but like with the rise of Sword Soul and like VW,
Flunder.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot of decks
Flunder
that like
that won't be good
like
against.
Phantasma isn't gonna do
yeah,
much.
so
too.
it just would be a very subpar hand trap to play in order to make
Right.
Baron,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
like
and it's not even like a hand trap, really.
No,
it's kind
yeah.
of just like hopefully.
Please
give me
draw
more
me into
cards.
something better.
like
Yeah.
unbrick me please,
It's
because
it's
I'm
a
playing
body.
Virtual World.
It is
Yeah.
a body, but like,
Yeah.
Not
Striker
next
format,
format.
it was nuts.
Oh
but
my god, yeah.
yeah,
Those
it
times
was.
It was
have
an
come
FTK
and
in
gone.
striker format.
Yeah.
Like when it released, like Savage Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
insane.
I remember that I went to a YCS in Chicago for that, and I'm down bad when it comes to new sets because like I just don't read the cards most of the time until like they're
no.
in the meta.
Uh-huh.
So like right now when you guys are talking about the synchro, I don't really know what you're talking about. Yet.
You'll know soon enough.
Okay,
You'll have it down
But
pat
I
soon
have to
enough.
read it, But I mean, when this card came out, I remember I was playing against a Thunder player, and I like link into a striker link, and the dude goes drop Phantasm. And go. I had to like read it. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" I've never seen this, and I was like, "Dude, I'm scared of that." I just went to Chicago. I have no idea what this card is. Like, come on, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
man.
that's gotta be rough.
Didn't you
That's
also
terrible,
not know
bro.
what Thunder did for that event?
No, that was Niagara. That was
was
like
Niagara?
When, yeah, that was when.
Same.
I mean, I knew a
Admittedly.
little, I read them. I did read them because I knew they were gonna be like. I just didn't like know what they specifically are going for, which was double Titan Colossus. So that was kind of rough.
Insane. Or double Colossus Titan.
I still made day 2 though, so it's okay.
I always thought that was interesting. This is like a side tangent. Is like that format you had a deck that loved to search, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you had a deck that put up a walking mistake. So like,
Yeah.
you almost wonder like, how does Sky Striker even compete? But then you look like they
Widow
have a card
Anchor's
like
pretty
Widow
correct.
They have a card like
Widow
Widow
Anchor.
Anchor.
Hayate came out,
Permanence.
so which
Yeah.
is really good because you can like dump the Widow and then add it
Mhm.
off Kagari
Yeah,
and like do things like that.
really
There-
interesting dynamic there.
It definitely sucked, but like there was ways to beat it. Not all hands could though. So
Yeah, and Dark Ruler wasn't even out yet at that
No.
point.
No,
Yeah.
not for a while.
No,
Yeah.
not for like
Like
another year.
year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so yeah, I mean, I'm sure enough we'll see the very, 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 very tiny impact of Synchro Storm come Bode.
With Baron DeFleur.
Yeah,
That's
Baron
it.
DeFleur.
How big of an impact? Very,
Just
very little.
like just so tiny,
Minuscule.
just so literally tiny. Except for me,
Like
I'll
who's
be-
playing speedroids, am I,
I mean,
right?
I'll
Like,
make
He's a
an
chief.
impact with the deck.
Yeah.
He's playing speed.
I'll
I
make
was
it
gonna
up
say
with
that. I
the
think
deck.
you're gonna be the one impacting the meta with the speed run
Exactly.
strategy.
Hell
I'll make
yeah.
it. I'll make it so when you're building your side deck for Pasadena, you're like, wait a second.
Gotta take the
Do
speedroid.
I
matchup.
have something for
Wait,
Speedroid?
am I facing Mike today?
But then you realize that Lancia is like one of the best hand traps of the format. Like covers every single thing, including Speedroid. But
no, that's crazy. I don't think it does it cover.
covers a lot. I would say
Covers a
Lancia.
lot.
I think we should get into that later, huh?
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
Sounds good.
All right, so next topic. Bode.
Bodacious.
Bode.
We're bodacious in here.
Shout out! Colin gave me the idea for this, so I hope you guys like this in the background
I'm
here.
being a little extra, but I mean, I think it spices it up a little bit.
I think it does too. I'm lucky I found a good enough image on the web to use.
Shout outs to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes.
Shout outs to
Shout outs to
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Konami. Let's go, baby.
So I think when we think about Bode, I think at least for me that there's when I think about Burst of Destiny, I think about 3 things I want to say. I think about Sword Soul as a new meta contender.
Oh yeah, that's like the first thing that comes to mind.
I
Honestly.
think about Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer.
Yep.
And then this might be exclusive to me, not everybody, but I also think about Small World, which I think is a card that doesn't get talked as much about as like it should be, because like it's like the second coming of Rhoda, but for any card in the game, any monster in the game.
Yeah.
Cards like we were talking about
insane.
in Phantom Knight, just like any level 3, you could tour.
One Ash can turn into anything.
Ash can turn into Tour Guide. Tour Guide can turn into Ash. Like it's
It's
pretty
small
crazy.
world,
It's
if
small
you will.
world.
It's kind of it makes you kind of go neg though, right? Because you're
Yeah.
like you're losing that card, and then you're
Yeah, you
taking
lose the
tour
card
guide
in
out of your
hand and the card
Yep.
in deck, but you get to search that one card in the deck.
So it's
it
a minus
definitely-
one.
It's consistency, but it's a -1.
Yeah, so,
So,
whatever
like-
you're searching, it has to make up for that
I get
minus
that.
one.
That makes sense. I mean, that kind of brings
Tour
the
guide
balance
does.
down.
If I opened Ash and Kagamucha Night and that like
Yeah, that you're getting rid of that Ash.
I'm
for
getting
that
a tour
guide.
guide with a
Right.
Kagamucha.
Well, if you're
Yeah.
going first, obviously. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Either way,
I
like,
get you. Yeah, it's definitely cool. I mean, I don't know because like I said I don't really read up on the new too many things. I like know the mainstream ones, but it's kind of like one of those cards where like we're saying it's really good and it could be, and that does sound good, but maybe like in theory it's good, but like through testing you might not like it as much.
Yeah.
Because like a -1 really like that's a lot, but the thing is like adding consistency to your deck is good. Just depends how far you want to go.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me when you say that, like, it seems good on paper, but in practice, that reminds me of Crossout Designator.
Yeah,
because
Right.
That's
exactly.
a
It
card
does,
that's
yeah.
$180 on pre-release in the tins, and
Now
then
it's
now
like
it's
40,
47,
50, bro.
57,
40,
like,
yeah.
that card, I thought that card was going to be game-changing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I did too. I mean, I still think it will be. I think it's like weird to say. It might be like format dependent almost because like a lot of decks just can't afford to play it.
No.
Like,
Takes up
like
so much
Virtual
space.
World,
Yeah.
like I feel like they
No,
can't
you
afford
can't
it.
play it.
Because it's not
Yeah.
even
No
just the
room.
card. Like you have to put in other cards to
Yeah.
like
All the
ones
targets.
you
make
wanna
it useful.
stop,
Like
you
Yeah,
know?
like I feel like you said, like didn't you tell me like Talents is better?
Talents is
than
just better in
in
Virtual
in
World.
Virtual World, yeah.
Because
Like,
there's no room.
It's weird to say because it feels like every deck should be playing it, but like some decks just don't. Like
They just
Dragon Link,
can't
they
afford
can
it.
combo through hand
Yeah,
traps.
so it
Where
doesn't
you don't
matter.
need to do the waste your like a card in your hand being. You rather have an extender piece.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's just kind of like it's a deck dependent.
Deck
not for-
dependent,
yeah,
and if your deck's engine is small enough to where you could afford it.
yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
that's-
hand trap heavy decks.
Like
You
Tri
can
Brigade
definitely-
probably could and
Like,
probably should.
Tri-Brigade, yeah.
and Live Twin, aka Crossout
Yeah.
Turbo.
Yeah, Live Twin
and
definitely
the
could.
Flunder, right?
Yeah,
Flunder,
Flunder could-
maybe, yeah.
That's another thing that we missed upon. Like, that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a big
It's
thing. that
another-
I
Yeah,
think
the
about
Flunderies
mode.
deck.
the Flunder
yeah.
deck, of
Yeah.
course,
Mhm.
of course.
I mean, everybody has their own things when it like. What do you think about when you think one thing when you think about Bo? What do you
When I
think,
think
of?
about Bo, and I think of Phoenix Enforcer.
What about you?
Same
my
thing.
God.
Phoenix
Enforcer,
Enforcer.
yeah.
It's so
What
good.
about
Yeah,
you?
Phoenix Enforcer,
Everybody's
yeah.
Phoenix
The
Enforcer.
card
yeah.
is so good, dude.
It is.
Yeah,
dude.
the pre-sale prices I saw on TCG on the House of Champs Market Watch. Shout out to the House of Champs. Like it was like $150 pre-release price. Obviously, that's gonna go down, but still, like,
I believe it.
That'll
dude.
be the single that I buy. That's literally the only thing I want on the set. So.
yeah. Sword Soul, like I want to play Sword Soul,
Yeah,
but
I do
like
too.
all the secret rares, ultra rares.
They're expensive.
Yeah, Ecclesia and Moe, those cards are going to be insanely expensive.
Yeah.
It's
How?
gonna be
What
crazy.
do we know? What rarity Chizao is?
Yeah, it's a secret, too.
And what about Tai?
Tai is a super.
Tai is a super. What about Appear or Emergence, as it's called? I think now.
I think it's an ultra. I think it's one of the good cards is an ultra.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And
Duke is an ultra.
Sudden Shift or Blackout.
I think it's
now.
like a common or a super.
Common.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if it's common, I already know what I can see to the future. I already know what the next OTS 18
OTS
super rare is
super.
gonna be. It's gonna be Blackout, aka Sudden Shift. I can just I know how I've seen it so much.
what
I
they
know how
do.
Konami
Yeah,
works.
Like punishment,
True.
boom, common, and now it's a super.
Yeah.
Like
Pankratops. What did it go to? Secret rare, I think next.
went to secret, and then
and then it got as an
ultra.
ultra, and then collector's rare.
Mhm.
Those sneaky common cards, man. There's always a common card that comes. Like, you know, a set's good. Like all the chase cards are nuts, but then even the common slots,
Commons are crap.
you're just like Pankratops, like Soul Fusion. You
Like,
had the Pankratops, or
Flood, you got called by.
yeah, or Chicken Game and
Oh my god.
all
Clash of
the way back,
Rebellion. I think
yes.
Chicken Game. That's a common.
Or
got
monkey
banned.
board in
Monkey
Bosch
board.
format. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Commons can be sneaky, man. They can be sneaky.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they can pull up on you, and you're just like, wow, that card's banned now.
Yeah.
Like, awesome.
Call by limited, Pank limited,
Yeah.
common. You gotta watch out for 'em, man. That's why I wish on the thing that Phil posted, you would have shown the commons because there
Mhm.
might be some
Little,
might be some
some little
spice
spice
hidden
in there, yeah.
And so yeah, continuing to Bode, the next thing I want to talk about, and this also kind of ties into Pasadena, and this is something I heard the DB Grinder bring up, and why he said he thinks that decks that play cards like Phoenix Enforcer or like Anaconda packages, whether it be with Dragoon or Enforcer in this case coming up, like seem very like, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but
Mid?
like seem just not good. Like, because when you're playing that many rounds in a tournament, like 8+ rounds,
You're gonna draw those bricks.
You're gonna
Right.
be drawing
You
those
will.
3 bricks a lot, and that kind of is a turn off for a lot of people.
You will definitely draw those bricks. Like,
Because they might see competitive play on DB at locals, because, DB, you can play 1 match a day, you can play 2 at locals, 4 or 5 rounds. When you're at a YCS, it's match after match after match, and each brick you see is the difference between, making top cut, making day 2 or
Right.
not. So,
Right.
And your hands are completely different playing DB compared to IRL.
oh, yeah.
yeah, I
100%.
mean, I mean, you could
It's
say
random, but like
but it seems like DB screws you over.
I feel like the DB algorithm
Everybody has their own
definitely-
conspiracy
like,
with the DB
you draw
algorithm.
like 3 of the same card often.
Funny
Like,
story on DB when I used grinding with Drytron like a couple formats back. I drew Herald of Ultimateness 17 games in a row.
that's insane.
I was like, there's just no way,
That's
dude.
that-
I was like,
that-
But
how?
then IRL, I feel like I draw Renault every
Yeah.
single time. The
Yeah.
one brick in my deck.
Even when
Yeah.
we played what, 1 match the other night, and you drew Renault, I think.
It doesn't make
He
any
loves you,
sense.
bro. He loves you.
But like on DB, it's I don't know. I feel like it's a little more forgiving for me, anyways.
Yeah,
But
fair enough. So, with that being said, do you guys think are we gonna see an overwhelming presence of Phoenix Enforcer at Pasadena, or do you think people will make that decision and be like, I don't want to brick 3 rounds in a YCS and go X3 because of that? It's a lot of, some people are flying across the country, like
Right.
like you,
Yeah.
like, for example,
And Dan.
and Dan,
And maybe Adam.
and maybe Adam.
hopefully.
Yeah.
I want to be
hopefully.
there.
Okay, so my opinion on this is that, like I said about Crossout, Phoenix Enforcer is definitely going to be another deck dependent card because you can't play it in Virtual World. Right? You can't do it. There's some decks that can't play it. Some decks can play it, but not necessarily want to play it. Like, okay, so when you're playing Dragon Link, right? Like, I'm gonna be playing that at some point, hopefully. I think that there is definitely there's definitely like 2 ways to play. You could play it with the Phoenix Enforcer and without, and I think that if you use Phoenix Enforcer, it like you said, it like adds like more bricking to your tournament.
Yeah.
It might be like a little more impactful, like getting hand trapped. It like, okay, so what do you want to do? If you get hand trapped, right?
Yeah.
Are you like a good enough player to like play through the hand traps without having like, okay, I could just fall off.
Plan B.
Yeah, like without having a plan
Like
B.
Dragoon and like
Right.
most decks, like Drytron.
Like
Right.
the certain person we know.
Yeah, right. Because you have to give up. You have to give up some like a little bit of consistency for that. But like you said, like in like a 11 round, 11 rounds of Swiss and then top cut of a YCS, it's like 17 rounds, right?
Yeah.
In a bigger event. So, you're gonna see those. You will see them. You can't complain because you chose to play them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like having the plan B might be nice, but like you got to think of like a YCS, like that is like a bigger thing than locals, right?
Yeah.
Like you got 5 rounds of locals, and then you have 11 to 17 rounds of
Yeah, plus
YCS.
$5 entry for locals versus 20 travel,
yeah,
all the
that's,
time
that's,
spent,
it's not even
right?
the 20, it's the travel. like,
Yeah.
It's the
and like
travel.
you're gonna go have a good time either way, but like events are back, like that's great, but you still want to do well, and
Yeah.
like you have to like that's just gonna come through testing. Like testing is a big thing in the game. Like that's the most important thing, arguably. And you will find which like I don't think it's incorrect either way. It just depends. Like there is a correct play to do it though.
Yeah.
There is definitely a correct way to do it. I just don't know yet. It just
Yeah.
all comes through testing. That's my opinion.
So I guess then I'll ask you real quick, and then I'll move to other people. Do you think Phoenix Enforcer will be everywhere at YCS Pasadena?
I think that it'll be.
I know we're far out, but
No, I know. I can like kind of foresee it. I think it will be half the decks you play will have it and half the decks won't. It's gonna be like a 50-50. Like if you play, say you play out of 11 rounds, you'll see it 5 or 6 matches.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And what about you guys?
I definitely think there's gonna same thing. There's gonna be a lot of people playing it, especially with like just the Destiny Hero cards are so good. The turn after,
Yeah,
like
compared to Dark Magician and Red Eyes.
yeah, they literally do nothing for you. Whereas like you could have a Pot of Greed or a special summon.
Pot of Greed.
That's
That's like
that's
big,
insane.
dude.
No
like,
cards left in hand. Draw
All
2.
right.
Like,
even without the Phoenix Enforcer, just having the draw 2 itself.
Yeah,
It's
So
like,
good.
It is. That is really strong. Like the bricks are actually like good.
Yeah,
cards.
Yeah,
like if
like, you
Enforcer
get something
gets
out of it.
outed, like you
Like,
got
don't
that
even-
follow up.
You don't even have to like wait for him to be outed. You could just like you can literally like the turn you send him right. Is it the turn you send them? You can banish 2 to draw.
I think it's a turn
no.
after.
It can't be the
not
turn.
the turn
It's
you
turn
send? Okay.
after.
Well,
Yeah.
either way, you can just like set your spells and traps and draw 2
But like,
cards.
yeah, having cards that have multiple purposes
Yeah.
is
Way better
so
than
much better
Dark
compared
Magician.
to sending 2 vanillas.
Yeah,
And
right.
Red Eyes Black
right.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh
Draw
my God.
Nibiru for turn, Dasher effect, summon it, go for game.
And another thing is with Fusion Destiny, like you could summon
can play
monsters
and then Fusion Destiny.
Then Fusion Destiny.
Whereas
yeah.
Red Eyes Fusion, like you cannot play it all. You just activate Red Eyes Fusion.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually play the 3 spells with that, like in a good
Hindering
deck.
your strategy.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of the decks that can play it will be playing it, and like you said, like you're gonna play it like 5 or 6 rounds
Mm-hmm.
at that event. But I also feel like maybe not, just because of, like just how like diverse I think the meta is gonna end up
It is
being,
gonna be diverse.
especially because like the Brave token stuff comes out for that event too. It's gonna be like brand new.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many people are gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
on
that's in
it.
Grand Creators, right?
Yeah, but that's coming out like that weekend or whatever. So
Mhm.
who knows how popular that's gonna be? I know it's a good engine, but I don't know like how good, because like it's gonna be hard to like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a lot of testing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of
Dude,
testing.
oh.
It's gonna be a totally different format, I think, with the
It
Brave token
is.
stuff.
Wow,
So
yeah.
it's tough to
Even
even like
with
look that far
Bode,
ahead.
post Bode is gonna
No,
change a
yeah,
lot.
exactly.
That is, I totally forgot about Grand Creators.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
you know what
weekend.
else is in there? That Inzector card.
Ooh.
True.
I think that's. I mean, you guys talking about the Brave token, but I think the Inzector card. Everybody should be watching out for that.
Do we know what it does?
I don't
Bee
know.
Trooper
I have no, I really have no idea.
You're like, you better watch out. Do you know what it does? No.
it's a spell card, right?
They literally had the entire Inzector community had to choose like monster spell, trap the spell,
It'll be good.
equip this,
It'll be
that, and
good.
like, what do you want to do? They literally tailor
Normal
made
spell.
it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be terrible. Probably.
It's gonna be the worst.
Inzectors will be like this much better.
Yeah,
than
literally.
that's about it.
Oh my god.
True.
All right, so Bode related, we talked about Small World. I think enough. It's just gonna be.
It's gonna be a good card, but in practice it may not be
format
as good.
depending, right?
Yeah.
Deck
Should we
depending.
talk about like the best decks before we move on?
There's one more thing I want to
Oh, okay,
talk about in Bode specifically. So we hit Phoenix Enforcer, Small World, and then I guess
We should talk about like Sword Soul.
we're
right?
talking about the 2 new archetypes coming out
Yeah.
in Sword Soul, or not? Sorry, in Bode. We have Sword Soul and Fluanderies.
Essentially.
Yeah. So
Essentially Sword Soul.
what's the consensus on those 2 archetypes? Like, I think most of us will probably have the same answer on like what one we think is better. But I mean, you know, Sword Soul, I think we could all agree is probably
Sword
the better
Soul
of the
is
2.
definitely better.
To be honest, I haven't really seen much of Sword Soul. I haven't like looked at
Really?
anything. Yeah, I haven't really watched much of them.
Have you
Like
seen
it was more so
anything about it,
Flunder.
or-
I've seen
I know
quite.
DB Grinder's been posting a lot of
that's
it.
pretty much where it all comes from. I mean, I haven't like read them or anything before I like watched the DB Grinder, but
Mhm.
they like I can tell by the way they play and how like the amount, like the little amount of resource that gets them to that like really good card. Like, you know, the synchros are all really high impactful cards.
Yeah, Chizao.
And they all
Sure.
just the one card just gives you one of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, that automatically, and you could put up a negate before nib, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, like
Mm,
that.
yeah.
That's just like good in my opinion, and like the tiny stuff going second.
Vashuta's very good.
Yeah, those cards are really good. Like they can play through a lot of things. Like I like that. Like I think that's really good for a deck to have.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have like a good median between like, you know, your engine and like cards that can go second. And if your engine can also go second with the going second cards,
It's just
that's
even better.
really good.
Yeah.
Like your deck is just like
No,
you're
it's-
never scared to lose a die roll. That's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna be a good deck. I
Yeah.
feel like it's not gonna like be super powerful, like not a crazy like combo decks or like Dragon Link or anything like that. I
Kinda
feel like it's gonna
mid-range.
be more on the level of like say, like Tri Brigade or
Brigade.
Virtual World, even something
Yeah.
similar to those
Yeah,
decks.
I just think that'll be the better of the three.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah,
Because you could have like the Chizao with Fleur and then like a Monk or 2 with the set sudden shift and follow up.
Yeah.
Because the one play that lets you add the Ecclesia back at the end
Oh
of the
yeah,
turn.
that's what if you're playing the Fusion engine, the
Yeah.
Destiny hero.
Yeah. So like really strong deck. Like
Yeah.
and then like the Yang Zing stuff too. You get to play Boxia,
Yeah, Boxia for
and
the
Chao Fang.
shuffle and the reborn. Yeah, the,
turn off light monsters.
add back any tuner. So good.
Yeah, because you can sudden shift, pop Chao Fang, and search a tuner from the deck.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So you get to pop Chao Fang, pop 2 the opponent controls, Chao Fang effect, add a tuner from deck.
Yeah,
to deck.
like
Oh, I see.
Ash
Okay,
or
yeah. I've
Ecclesia.
seen that. I've seen that. Yep.
Pretty
They
crazy
can add Ash
interaction.
too, right?
Yeah,
That's
Ash
cool.
or Ecclesia for
Mhm.
sure.
Or Ghost Bell.
I don't think I'm just playing that. I feel like Ogre might be a little more popular next format, though.
Yeah, we'll get to Ogre a little bit. I want to have a little discussion about Ghost Ogre.
Like hitting the monster in Sword Soul that specs a token.
Yeah, so they
Not
just have a
bad.
token and they're locked in.
Appaloosa interactions.
Not bad. I feel like they're kind of like Tri Brigade though, where they have the normal summon and the extender.
Yeah.
So like you Ogre the normal, they still have the extender though.
Yeah.
So like Ogre takes away something.
Long Yun is that extender usually, right?
Long Yun, or if they
Peak, not Peak. What's the one that revives? Or is that Peak?
I'm not sure.
It's a revive spot. Yeah, I think it's Peak.
Yeah, there's Emergence and Peak. Those are the two. Yeah.
Yeah, but once you burn through the effect, right? Oh, you could just revive it and then use the.
So you know,
yeah,
those Tri Brigades are 2 summons. They have like their normal and like their Cuirass usually.
But they can start with Ecclesia too, right?
But yeah, you could start with Ecclesia. You could spec that if you're going second.
They just got a lot more going for them.
But yeah, you could use all 3. You could use Tai, Long Yun, and Moe all on the same turn if you have like enough setup.
Yeah, they got more going for them for sure.
A little bit more gas in the tank.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then Flaunderies or Flunderies.
Fluanderies.
I feel like it's
Good,
good, but it's not going to be like crazy.
No. I think it'll be good though. I think that it's definitely a deck you have to respect, because like when they get going, it's like kind of like Altergeist where they snowball like really hard. Like you can, like most control decks are like that.
Yeah.
But like a lot of decks, like they can full combo, but you can still win.
Yeah.
But like decks like that, if they start, it's most likely over. And
You
when you're
gotta
under,
have an answer.
and when you're under a 40-minute like time limit, you just got to know when to scoop against those decks. You can't be playing around because they do kill you slowly, but they will win. They will snowball.
Yeah. So I mean, where like do you place that deck in the same category as like the top as the Drytrons of the format, the VW, the Tri Brigades, and Vokshadal?
I don't put them in the same category as those decks. No.
Would you put it like maybe like a rung below? And
right, like kind of where I'd say I gotta think of like a
Phantom Knight maybe, or
no. I think Phantom Knight sits high right now. I
Yeah,
think that like
definitely.
Altergeist and Prank Kids.
Yeah, they're
I put them in the
lower
same.
rung.
Yeah, I put them in the same category where like if they go off, they don't stop. But like it's easier to stop them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a deck is really, on my opinion, like the scale of like making it like what's top tier or whatever. I think that like how many things like your deck can play through, because once you're into the game, like once your deck's in there, like it starts like getting to where it wants to be, the game's usually over. It's just like how it gets there, like how it plays through the hand traps to get there, because like that's the important part, right? Because like everyone's like choke points, but if you can like navigate right and like get through those choke points and like find different ways,
get
like
out of the early game.
Yeah, and like once you get your deck to where it wants to be, you're most likely winning the match, right? Because like we're talking about like how to hand trap decks all the time and stuff, but if they go past that, it's like, damn, like this is tough, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like if I I Gamma Nib you like I always do.
Always. That's why I call him
Gamma
C.
Nib.
That's why I call him C Nibby.
C-Nibby. Like it's hard for you to play past that,
So
and now
hard.
I can play with my engine for free. You couldn't set up anything, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
just
But like
have the best
if
train
a deck
traps.
can play past a Gamma and a Nib
Oh my
and still
gosh.
end on stuff, it's like.
It's like, that deck's insane. Yeah, that deck's just really good.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Fair enough.
that's
fair
where
enough.
I put the. Anyway, I got off topic, but that's where I put the
The
Flunderies.
Flunder's a little bit below the
little
best
bit
decks,
below the
but
best
still
decks.
like a good deck.
It's still definitely
solid
good.
contender.
Yeah, it's like floodgatey, kind of like that True Draco feel.
Yeah. And of course, like most decks, first wave of support for both Sword Soul and Flunder. So
They can only get better.
we don't know anything about. We
True.
don't know too much about Battle of Chaos, which is the next core set. For those that aren't aware, it comes out in February, I believe, mid-February.
I think they both get one new card each, and they're both pretty good.
Do you know what the name of the Sword Soul card is they're getting?
It's
or?
a synchro, but it's like a new boss monster, I think. It's another
Okay.
level 10 that's a
And
little
then
better than Duke.
They're getting a spell, Flunder, right?
Yeah, they're gonna quick play spell. It
Quick
like
play spell.
dodges like the problem with the deck, which was like stopping the normal summon. The
Okay.
first normal summon.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Always a chance to get better. So that's the thing with those decks. Like a lot of people might be discouraged to like kind of pick up Sword Soul, pick up Flunder, and they might stick with the current powers that be. But another core set will come as quickly just as Bo does, and
Sort of like
might
how,
just push it right over the edge, and then you're gonna be wishing you picked up the cards now when they're not as hyped up. So
Right.
something you always got to keep in mind. Like when Burning Abyss first came out. The deck didn't seem too
It was
good,
all
and then
Shadal
the
and
next,
Tellers.
yeah, the next wave of support,
The
or same with
Beatrice.
Shadal. They got Al
Beatrice
Shadal
wasn't
fusion.
even not for a while.
Oh,
it was
2015.
it was like when like Farfa and all that came out because
Yeah.
it was just Seer Graf's Karm.
Cross something, Cross
Souls.
Souls, was it?
Cross
Cross Souls.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Or New
Something like-
Challengers.
New
Something like
Challengers
that.
was Virgil, Firelake,
Yep,
Rubik,
yep. Okay.
and a couple others.
Yeah, I do remember
Or
that.
sort of like how Orcus just had like the main monsters, but then they got like Ding and
Yeah, it was
Crescendo.
Soul Fusion,
Oh
and
my
then they got
God.
Nightmare and
put 'em over
Savage
the
Strike,
edge.
and then
Yeah.
Dark Neostorm. They had Dings.
Yeah, they got like
Sometimes-
drip fed.
Sometimes decks do just get support. It's like, oh, this deck is really good now.
good.
Yeah,
now,
literally,
yeah.
like as soon as Dark Neostorm dropped, like Orcus was
Norks
real.
like with the best deck, probably. That
Nightmare,
format.
Rusty, that
So
just
good.
was real instantly, and it was
Yeah.
at your locals, in your face, everywhere you went
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Two
Very good
or two
format, though.
monsters, man.
Two
monsters.
monsters get you a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh.
And
Yeah, it does.
still
It gets
to
you
the
Anaconda Dragoon.
still to this day,
Phoenix
it gets you too
Enforcer.
much. Yeah. So moving on, I guess we'll talk about what we think the best decks will be post Bode. We just talked about the 2 new decks coming out of Bode, but like, do we think that anything changes? Like, do we like? I don't think Sword Soul and Flunderies are going to upset the current best decks. I mean, unless you
so.
guys.
I don't really think there's like a best deck right now. I think
Very
everything's
open.
relatively well balanced.
Yeah.
I could get on board with that.
It's a very open format where a lot of decks could do well. I
Okay, so
think.
like, yeah, that makes sense because like like the OCG format is way different from ours, and we all know that Sword Soul is what is like what's their best deck, right? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell until the deck actually comes out and you see play for like a month or two,
Yeah.
and like then you can really diversify and like see what are the best decks. I mean, obviously, like some decks just have a good matchup versus others, right? So like maybe Sword Soul and the Flunder deck, they have good matchups versus like current best decks. Maybe that's why they're playing the OCG. I mean, do we really know why they're like the best decks? Like, I mean, that's all I'm saying. I just think that we just have to wait and see, kinda. But what I think will be the best, if you want my opinion, and we can go around the room maybe. Sure. I think that the best deck post Bode. It's tough to say, but I'm gonna say that it's probably going to be the Sword Soul deck because, like, what do we have right now? We have Virtual World. We have
Tri-Brigade.
Tri-Brigade.
Dragons.
Okay, so-
Shadals.
Okay, then maybe I think that Drytron actually is. I kind of totally forgot about that deck, but I think that Drytron, like, if it's played correctly, turn 1, in my opinion, you're just never losing. And then, like, I just think the deck is just really, really, like, it feels like hand trapping them is just like you're just wasting your cards. It always feels that way to me. I mean, unless you have like
It's very
Psycho
good
Reader.
at peeling hand traps out of the
and
opponent.
then even under Droll, like if they open well enough, they can do Beatrice and Dragoon. And then if they open if you just Droll and they have like the average hand, they still end on Dragoon. Like that's insane. Like I think that's really good.
Yeah.
And then follow up. But so second to that, then I think that the Sword Soul deck would be the second best deck, and then like Virtual World. Shadal's I think gets a boost from the new guy.
Yeah, Phoenix
a lot.
Enforcer.
Yep. I think that like they're going to be cutting the Shadal monsters for the Phoenix Enforcer stuff. It's going to be more like when
Destiny, like Invoked.
remember when they
Dogmatica.
Invoked Dogmatica first came out?
Yeah, it was just
Invoke
Schism,
Dogmatica.
yeah.
It's going to be like that with the Fusion Destiny. I think
Yeah.
they're going to lean more towards that because it's more consistent.
Mhm.
And there is less bricks now because you can't add. Have Shadal. All the 5 Shadal monsters you play, or 6, whatever it is, are pretty much bricks.
Yeah,
right?
they all are pretty bad to draw.
Yeah, right. Like, but you're taking those 5 out to add the 2 bricks in, and then like the Fusion Destinies, right?
You could even play like 3 Fusion Destiny because that card's not really a brick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
play 3 Fusion Destiny and 2 bricks.
And then past turn 1, you're not using it, but sure, it's just like a discard fodder
Yeah,
or
I
like
say
whatever.
if we're gonna do top 5, you want to say top 5 best decks?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Should we do it in order or just?
It doesn't have to be in any
Just top
order.
5.
Okay, so
yeah.
top 5?
No order.
Top 5 is gonna be, I think, the Sword Souls. I think that the Drytron.
Drytron deck's still really good.
Yep. I think that the Phantom Knight deck is very underrated.
Very good combo deck.
100% gets better
Very,
with-
very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does, and
And
it
he
gets better
can
with
attest
Enforcer
to
too.
that.
It's gonna be the same thing as Drytron. You're gonna hand trap them, and then
Yeah.
they're gonna make Anaconda Phoenix Enforcer, right?
Yeah.
What do you and before you continue, what do you think is like the main impact that Enforcer will have with your deck, Phantom Knight? Do you think it's going to?
He's like, why do you?
Do you think that?
I wish you would have worded it a different way.
Do you think Enforcer is going to be like a staple in Phantom Knight going forward?
I don't think it's going to be a staple. I think you could. People are gonna have different builds no matter what. Some people are still gonna play Dragoon because they feel like the spell and Trap Negate is going to be what they need.
Yeah,
true.
But like even watching some DB Grinder videos, people are playing Phantom Knights with it in there. It's all just dependent on your opinion.
It's hype right now. Right?
Preference.
It's also hype right now. So
Like-
that is a good point.
Like personally, I like Dodger Wolf's approach to it. He's not playing Verte or anything. Just the Isold package, like that is so strong.
Yeah,
Like access code is nuts.
going first or second, it's strong, right?
access code is nuts. That is true.
Appaloosa and turn one, and then
because if you get hand trapped, you can just back off into Isold and still make an Appaloosa after getting hand trapped.
Makes sense.
Pretty sure that scenario came up when you and me were testing, or it might have been against Alex or something. But like, I got hand trapped multiple times. But
I
like,
lanced you.
Oh yeah,
I made the mistake of lancing him a little too late. I should have stood stand my phase, but I let him resolve a Torn Scales, and then he had a Fog Blade.
No.
Okay, it was late. Okay, give me a break. Then he chains the Fog Blade.
And you're
I'm
like, oh,
you played
I
like
fucked
7
up.
matches before that,
Yeah.
before we even played. So.
I fucked up at that point. I saw him chain the fog. Like, yeah, this is. And then he still ended on Appaloosa, Fog Blade, and some other shenanigans. And I proceeded to. I was like, I made a mistake.
So yeah, the best.
So back, you said Drytron, Sword Soul, PK.
Okay, and then I think that after that would be, it's tough here, right? Like I guess Shadal's.
It's tough. Yeah, it is.
I would
Shadal
say
Dragons,
not Shadal. I'm not
VW.
gonna call it
The
Shadal anymore.
invoked tactic.
The invoke tactic.
Yeah.
The fusion summoning
And
strategy.
Fusion strategy.
Lastly but not least, Virtual World. Those are probably the 5 picks. The Evoked, the Virtual World, the Sword Soul, the PK, and then the Drytron, right? Did I say that already?
Yeah, no, I think you got it all of them.
I think all 5.
Where's Dragon Link though?
I don't think they belong in there. I think that
You don't think it's the best deck?
I don't think it's the best deck, but I think piloted by a good player, it's very, very good.
Very strong.
Yes.
It's interesting to see how you've made such a paradigm shift almost. It's like it seems like a couple weeks ago you were really gassing up Dragon Link.
I know.
Even in his profile, he was like, "This deck sucks." I'm switching to Dragon Link, and he's
I
still playing
it's
Tri-Brigade.
definitely a really good deck. Like I said though, I just think that
Also, you didn't put Tri-Brigade in that list either. That's
No,
interesting too.
it's not the best. But I personally think that
It's
you guys think
not.
that
It's not.
It's not.
No,
It
yeah,
is,
it's
it's just not. But I personally think that, like I said, Dragon Link is just really good, piloted by a really good player. And this, like, it's not to like mean anything. It's just like I haven't. Like, I can't even say that it's the best deck for me yet because I haven't even played it yet.
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing a little bit, but not as much as I want to. But I think that if whoever masters it, right, then it's like absurdly good. It's just like it could be the best deck with that person. Like, do you know what I mean?
Pilot dependent.
Because it is really pilot dependent. It is.
Even when we played that one single like online, like you were saying, like I had full combo with PK, but you still played through a lot of stuff. It was just the fact that I had Lancia.
The Lancia, yeah.
But like you would have played through a lot of stuff.
Ash, Lancia,
Phantasme. I had Utopic,
Fogblade, Utopic Future,
Fogblade, IP,
IP,
and then
the Pop.
And then I stole one of your the Rocket Synchron, and then used IP, made Appaloosa for 3.
But yeah, like
you still played through a lot of it. It's just the Lancia was too much.
But once I get that deck, like, you know, embedded in my brain, I'll be a lot better with it. But for now, I don't like I said, I don't think in the hands of every person, because you got to put those decks in the hands of every player and then like think what's the best one. But if you put Dragon Link in the hands of every player, it's just not better than the other ones, right?
No, it's not the
That's
best
what I'm
deck by
saying.
any
So like
means.
it's just like it takes special players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Sort of like how it takes like a really good player to do well with Striker now, for example.
Right,
Yeah.
just the same type of thing. Yeah. That's all. It's like, I mean, any deck could be good in Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, yeah.
Right? Speed Ride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy,
A lot of testing.
a lot of testing,
Ton of
like a
testing.
lot of it, and like to just really be good at that deck. And I just think that like, yeah, it's not as powerful, like compared to the best decks, but I think that you know, with like all that stuff I just said, you can win a YCS with it. There's no
100%.
reason that you can't.
Yeah.
Like anybody that puts time in, and anything that they want to do, I firmly believe that they can do it. It just, you really got to go the extra mile, especially with like a rogue deck.
Yeah.
Like
You know
the
what I'm
one
saying?
YCS, the World Chalice one.
Yeah.
Like a whole bunch of formats.
Or
like
Danger at YCS
Moonlights.
Niagara.
Yeah.
So don't think that
Grand
well, I'm
Maju.
saying that these are the best decks. Like this is what you got to play. Like you could play whatever you want. It just you gotta, no matter what you play, you gotta put in time.
Mhm.
You know,
That's true. It goes to say with a lot of things too. You gotta
yeah,
put
in
the
life
time.
in general.
Yeah,
Right.
100%. So I think we're all then, unless anybody wants to say anything else about in regards to.
I
you
think
guys-
C.
anyone-
Goody put it very well that those are probably the top 5 decks going into the next format, and then like all the other decks are just like
They're
not
good,
as good.
but it's still gonna be like that format that's like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
So
Very
with that
diverse.
being said, with discussing what we think the top decks are going to be, we can go ahead and talk about what are the best plans or tactics, strategies, if you will, to go ahead and counter these best decks. So we could be talking about side cards in the sideboard, main board. Like, what cards do you think are we going to see
Good.
going into the side as like the best things to counter these decks, etc., etc.
I definitely think Ogre's gonna be.
I think
more
Ogre's
popular.
going to come up too, 100%.
Why is that?
The Sword Soul, like they activate spec tokens, right?
Token.
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ogre that.
Okay.
Takes it
normal
away-
summon. Normal summon Moyu
And
token
the-
ogre.
Against Flunderies, you hit the map.
Right.
That's
the map is
huge.
nuts. Dude.
Yeah.
Map is so
Map is.
good.
I
Map is really
honestly,
good.
I played against Alex, and I misplayed bad from not hitting that card.
Not
And then like
map, yeah.
even decks that just spit out Appaloosa effect, Ogre.
Chain Ogre, yeah.
Okay, and like also Italy's that too.
Yeah.
Italy's that too.
That's
Ogre's never been more
You can-
accessible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. True.
Like that, I definitely can see that card having a lot. More
Okay.
play.
Fair enough.
100%.
What do you think? We all got one card, right? You just put one card in there. What do you got, Adam? Let's see it.
Lancey 100%.
Lancey?
Card's gonna be so good against so many different decks right now.
Is it good versus Sword Soul?
It stops the Taie. It
Okay.
stops the Duke if they're.
It stops Cheese out too, right?
Okay.
It stops Chi Zhao, yeah, technically,
Yeah.
but they're usually using that during your turn.
I actually wanted
but
to bring this
depends,
up.
yeah.
I saw that they said Lancia. You know that what's that card that is? It's like a VFD type effect where you call an action.
Featherstorm.
No, it was.
Or-
It wasn't like it's in the Sword Soul deck that you can search. It's like it's a card that you can summon and like call an attribute, and it like
Are you
the
talking about
Arch
Nemesis?
Arch Nemesis.
Arch
Yeah.
Nemesis.
That's
Yeah.
being played in
That-
Dragons, right?
No, it's
Thunder
played
Dragon.
in
The
Sword
Chaos
Soul,
Thunder.
That's
but
right.
it hurts dragons because they're
Yeah.
all you just call
Yeah,
them
you
dark.
call dark.
Same with Phantom right? Are they
Yeah.
all dark?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play the Arch Nemesis.
That's something that's big next format, dude.
Yeah.
You could search that thing.
Yep.
So what searches that specifically?
So you need to use appears when you have a synchro monster, and then you can search any worm instead of just a Sword Soul card.
Okay. So does Lancia prevent that from coming out or no?
I believe so because you need to banish 3 different types or something like that. Yeah.
So maybe Lancia is a good card.
Yeah.
You might be onto something.
Mm.
Because that's like another thing I was scared about Dragon Link and playing it now is
Oh
because
my
of
god,
that.
yeah, that
And
card's
like
really
Sword
good.
Soul's gonna be everywhere,
Yeah,
and
there's
that's
a
a
lot of people on that
problem. Like
deck.
for you too, that's a problem.
No
because
darks.
it's not like because
Literally can't play.
Yeah, we're throwing our Imperm Veiler hand traps at their engine, and then they're just like, oh, hey,
Arch
what's up?
Nemesis.
Search, summon,
Do it all again.
activate the effect, call dark, pass.
I
What are we doing?
remember. I remember a small interaction when we were at locals, and Dave Fields was playing Thunder, and he was playing against Dave, who was on Earth Machine.
Oh no.
And he summoned the and he called machines with it or something, or Earth or whatever.
Or yeah, summoned one of the two.
Yeah, and it just complete shutdown for the next turn. Couldn't use Citadel, couldn't do anything like that. It was just I can only imagine it in a deck that can like
Search.
actively just search it that
Search it.
easily off a card
dude,
like
that's
Emergence.
a problem, right? Is
Yeah,
it not
it's
a
a good
problem?
card.
It's,
Yeah.
it's even a problem for Speedroids.
Yeah, 'cause
Lancey
it's
hurts
all-
Speedroids a lot.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Heard
Man.
Shadal.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Tri
rough.
Brigade.
Yeah.
VW.
Virtual to an extent.
Plus the Heavenly Lord guy for the trap decks.
The giant hand looking thing.
Of the
Oh,
Heavenly
Yeah.
Prison,
Card
Sky
deck.
Prison.
The control card, yeah.
Yeah, I was
It says
talking
you
to you about
can't
that
target
today.
set cards or whatever.
No, you
Yeah.
can't destroy.
You can't
I'll bring it up
destroy
real
set
So like,
cards.
think about that. Like against trap decks, no Lightning Storm, no Twin.
No Duster.
Yeah.
Oh man, you got to play Cosmic again.
I mean, I don't know if that's enough. Though. We were
That's
talking about
not
evenly.
enough,
I
yeah.
think evenly might
No,
be.
yeah, I'm siding evenly.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
called Lord of the
So
Heavenly
good.
Prison. It's a level 10 rock effect, 3,000, 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
During your main phase, you can activate this effect as cost, as was a semicolon. This card in your hand becomes revealed until the end of your opponent's turn.
Yep.
While this card is revealed by this effect, set cards in in the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. And then, if a set spell or trap card is activated, except during the damage step, and that's if any set spell or trap is activated, it could be your opponent's, could be yours, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then if you do, then if you activate this effect while this card was revealed, you can set one spell or trap directly from your deck, but banish it during the end phase.
Spell or trap.
End phase of the next turn.
That's like an incredible card for
like
slow
protection,
decks, right?
Yeah.
It's a trap trick, and it's just a 3k body.
That's
not even
wild.
a trap.
Like, yeah,
Any
it's like
spell
a,
or trap, that's insane.
It's a body. It has built-in protection, and it gives you an extra trap. Like,
Yeah.
what more could you ask for
a
a trap?
spell that could get you like Monster Reborn,
Like,
stuff
yeah,
like
like
that.
that's like what I
Insane
bet you there's gonna
stuff.
be they're teching that into something,
Yeah.
right?
Like into some deck that even just has like an engine, like a smaller engine that it sets like a trap like during their turn.
So yeah, that makes sense. But I think that the like you said Lancia, right?
Lancia, yeah. It's gonna be really good.
I don't know. That's tough, right? Like, what do you think is really gonna be like the best, like the card of the format? I mean, Lancia, it might be like.
I'm on board with Lancia.
I might be
Ogre is a
too.
close second.
As of right now, I think that you're right. I think that Lancia might be like.
Just looking at it from like an outside perspective.
Yeah, just for now,
without like much testing.
Right.
I mean, Droll. I feel like Droll is kind of hanging close there too, because like you said, like Drytron's an extremely strong deck.
I still yes, I think it's probably the
Droll
best
hits
deck.
that deck. Does Droll hinders Sword Soul? I would imagine a little bit, right?
A little bit.
Turns off Mo Yi.
No, you can't draw. You can't search off the
Emergence. Yeah,
Depends how they
Rapiers.
start. They could also start with like Desires, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
that
do
too.
play Desires. They
Yep.
play the some builds of the 10 builds. They play Vessel.
Yeah.
That searches, right? It sends and searches.
Send search if you have a non.
It'll be
Non-effect.
one of,
something. Yeah.
it'll be one of those decks where like they play search cards and the draw will hinder them, but they still end on stuff.
They can still
through
end on
draw.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so
So
it's not like
Droll's
Dragon Link where they're like
good.
seal pass.
It's getting harder and harder to hand trap decks.
It is, man.
There's some formats, especially when formats get solved, where like, oh, you ash this. Ash insert card here. Veiler Imperm insert card here.
Yeah, because there's just so many different
But
decks
now
that
it's just
get hit by
like-
different things.
It's almost like playing going second cards and like not hand traps is like almost just better. It's
That's
like
what I wanted to segue into
talents,
next.
droplets, Raigeki, etc.
Raigeki.
Dark Hole Interrupted Slumber, because you get the Kaiju package in there for
Yeah,
Wind Barrier
maybe,
and
yeah.
Plunder.
Those might be like
Maybe.
better, like evenly. I don't think evenly in the main, but like definitely on the side.
So, what do you think? Hand traps or board breaking cards will become more popular over the next few months?
Like I said, we have to like see what the format's gonna like come to, but I think that like it's tough to say. I mean, every deck, there's so many different strategies that get hurt by different things, worse than others. You kind of just gotta find like a few things that you could play in your deck that kind of hurt all of them. Some of them might hurt less. What are you gonna play against more? What's more popular? Like,
Yeah.
it's tough. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is getting tougher. Like each set,
Very hard,
like
yeah.
every what 6 months it just gets harder and harder. You know.
Like when you play against Phantom Knight, it's like what the hell? Like what that? Like one Ash isn't gonna be enough.
That's the
When
thing.
you play
man.
against VW
like-
and you got Ash,
Yeah.
It's like
you
do I
gotta
ash
use it
the
on
Lulu?
Lulu.
Yeah, right. And then do you
They
have
have Gamma. They have Gamma.
Rip.
Sack.
Like yeah, just you could just be such a sack and have Gamma.
I feel like it's not a sack. I think it's a 3 of, but I think that like what are you laughing about?
We'll talk about
Well,
it.
I'll show you later.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'm not a part of this, so
And like yeah, it just feels like it gets like against a deck like VW, having one Ash is not gonna be enough. Even sometimes like when I was playing Marincess, and there were several times where I get paired up against Johnny all the time. Like every tournament I get paired up against Johnny, I have the side deck as prepared as much as it could possibly be without being overbearing towards VW, because there's not that many VW players, right? But lo and behold, I get paired up against like every VW player or locals, and like Ash, Lancia, Droll, Shen Chuche.
yeah.
Shen Chuche every time.
Yep, that's
and
how
that's
it
what it feels
goes.
like it's gonna happen with Sword. So like cheese out, bare minimum,
Yeah.
sudden shift
That's-
maybe.
Cheese out,
That's
sudden
the thing
shift.
about Phantom Knight. Like I'll
Phantom Knight is like Appaloosa, like
So,
Rusty IP double fog blade or something
right.
like
And,
that every
the thing is,
time.
if you like hand trap them correctly, right?
Yeah.
Say you hand trap the what's it called deck, the Phantom Knight deck correctly, right? They still like say I get rid of everything. I nib Ash, like the best 2, right?
Yeah.
They still can get like a fog blade, right? A fog blade in your hand trap, like you still have stuff.
Yeah.
So like that's a problem. Like if the deck you just hand trap them correctly, they
Yeah.
still have
Still
stuff.
end on a board.
And now you lose your losing card. Yeah, and then all you
second hand
and then they have
graveyard.
follow up.
Yeah.
They have all the follow up. So it's like it's rough, you know.
Yeah.
That's how Yu-Gi-Oh's getting to though. It's like hand traps like are getting lower impact as time goes on.
It's crazy
The
to think
impacts are-
that. Like
yeah.
nib who?
And low-
like right?
like
Sometimes
nib
it's like
low
who
impact
cares?
cards,
The
like,
power curve is
thought?
just
Yeah, who cares honestly?
it's kind of wild.
it is wild.
Like, where does it go from after that? Or, you know, like what's the next card? That Power Creep's Nib. What's the next card?
I don't want to think about
You want to think about this. Think about what Power Creep's Droplet. We got Dark Ruler. People were like, this card is invalidate
Insane.
any monster heavy negate board. Just they put up 5 huge Synchro Ixies, whatever, slap Dark Ruler. Yeah, GG. Then Droplet comes out. What, about a year later?
You're gonna start skipping phases.
Yeah, really.
Again, yeah.
Like,
Skipping
and then it'll eventually just be turns. Yeah, like, why are we
Summons
playing
a monster,
this?
quick effect, discard this card, and then your opponent
End
loses
turn.
main phase 1. They have to enter the battle phase.
I can't even answer that, to be honest. That's something like that's something tough to think about. Like, that is wild. Like,
Tom,
I
who
literally
got
can't
you
imagine
going?
anything past that.
Who's ever in charge of Konami, you better be careful.
of what you bring out.
Be careful. You're typing up in your little computers there, and you're printing out on cardboard a year later. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Be very careful. It's a delicate balance. All it takes is, I don't know, what's Droplet 2 look like? I don't know, man. I don't even want to know what it
I don't
looks
want to
like.
think about that,
Yeah,
dude. Like,
I know.
it's
Imagine Droplet, but it's just always super poly. And it just always negates.
you don't have to discard.
And it can negate any card. Trap, spell, monster.
Super poly without having to have a fused target.
You don't need to discard. Yeah, you don't need to discard. It just happens.
At least with like Droplet, it's like a heavier cost though.
Yeah.
So like it is really strong.
There is
but,
there is a fair trade-off between Dark Ruler and Droplet.
I like Droplet. I think Droplet's a really neat card, and like there's like interactions with that card. So many
Oh
of them.
my
that
God,
are, like,
yeah.
Yeah,
super
Droplets is
interesting to
crazy.
me.
Yeah, very cool interactions
You
with
know?
that.
Yeah.
For
It's
sure.
like when you're playing Phantom Knight and you're
and
going
I literally
against
get all my
Drytron.
effects off of
And you're
it.
going against Drytron, and they end in that Herald of Ultimus where you draw the drop, and you're just like, You're like dodge and roll, but open Chalice Droplet.
Oh my god.
Every
Chalice
time.
the Chalice the Herald negate chain Droplet.
Yep.
Honestly, like it is
GG.
true. You open droplets, you're winning.
Yeah.
Most
It
likely.
is
Phantom
ridiculous.
Because you just
Deck,
like
oh,
put
yeah.
extenders in your graveyard for
Yeah,
free.
yeah. I
It's
literally
absurd.
put whatever
kinda
names
cool.
in.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Discard Cloak Boots. Okay.
Yep.
Negate 2. Okay.
See ya.
Okay.
And you
Fair
can
enough.
still do full damage too.
Yep.
Yep.
It's insane. Just OTK through it.
And like, yes, there is that trade-off in some decks where it's like Dark Ruler might seem more enticing because hand advantage is important. But then like that like reminds me of like Talons too, because I know like some people I've talked to like they have a real problem with Talons, but I think Talons is like
It's a fair card.
pretty well designed
fair
card.
card.
You have to have one of your plays not go through,
Right.
and then you're hoping in that situation one of those three effects you have there is going to be
Yeah.
impactful.
Enough.
Now.
I agree with
The
that.
draw too, like it might sound okay, but if you don't draw good, it's
Just draw
Right. It's
nothing.
kind
Might
of
be
like
your
might as well be
grace.
something
I think,
else.
I think Talents is more fair than than not.
I think it's more fair than I want to say. Like in the grand scheme of fairness on card design, I want to say Talents is a more fair card than Droplet is.
I mean, I would have
They're
to
both.
to.
I don't know.
Pretty fair,
It depends too, because I feel like if you could still play through the hand trap, you just punish your opponent. Like if
Yeah.
you're still
That
playing
is-
through
that
it,
is
then you
also
look in
true.
the hand, rip out engine cards
Yeah.
too, so like they can't even do anything.
That is also true. I'm looking at
I
it
mean,
on
the
the
thing
other
about
side.
Droplet is too, like a lot of like interruptions come from like you know, like what's it called, the Sword Soul deck. They have the trap, right, and then
Yeah.
their hand traps. Like it's not like Droplet doesn't cover all of them, and also you're losing cards.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So like I don't know if it's necessarily unfair.
Mhm.
It can be in certain scenarios for sure, but I think it's fair. I think the Talents is more fair though. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I like maybe not by a ton, but like maybe by
Just
a
a
small
little
margin.
yeah, a little margin.
With Yu-Gi-Oh now, dude, like we need these cards that
Yeah.
are busted. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I hate to like look at it this way, but like in some matchups, because like it's not always like that. Like when we were playing Speedroid versus Machine, like those are just like good matches. Like
Yeah.
our decks aren't super powerful, right? Like we were talking like, oh, we should have a money match, and then like, let's do Speedroid versus Earth Machine, and like someone joking, oh, that's not gonna be a very like, why do those decks? It's like, oh well, I have Drytron, you have VW,
Yeah.
you have like Invoke Shell, like we could do that, but like those matchups are so much more
Powerful.
one-sided, like
Yeah.
coin toss type
Like,
matchups.
oh, I have Window, and then I'm playing against Drytron. Next game.
Or
Like,
I go first.
Herald?
I open Alpha Zeta with a orange light. GG.
Yeah.
Like,
Herald. All right, next game.
I
Like,
get you. Yeah, that's understandable.
It's
we
like-
actually like play you.
But I get you having fun with the game.
and there's it just
with those decks.
I don't want to say it, but like it feels like it's like, and it comes and goes because like I feel like it reaches a certain threshold in some formats and it backs off just because like the player base realizes like the inherent threat of like how their deck will lose to those certain cards, and like not putting all your eggs into one basket. Similar to how you were playing a different Drytron build last Tuesday. You weren't playing the Ultimatus build, you were playing the Megalith version, which I think is like has a more well-rounded end board compared to the Ultimatus version. But like it seems like some matchups, like it all comes down to who drew the out. Like it's like against some decks, like almost not all the time, like, but like a good chunk of the time, I feel like decks engines can't play through a Drytron board with a full hand of fairies. Can't play through Appaloosa, Double Dragon Lord's Revolt, and maybe a hand trap to boot. Can't play through Utopic Draco, Double Fogblade, IP, hand trap in hand, or like Rusty Pop. Like it gets so trivial to the point where it's like, what decided the game? Oh, he didn't draw a droplet. Yeah, so that like, doesn't sound super great. No. But like,
do you see why I emphasize on, like when I'm on your deck profiles, I emphasize on those 13 hand traps and stuff?
Absolutely.
There's a percentage that I go by, and like that's my hand trap percentage. That doesn't mean like going second cards like droplets, because I haven't done that
dedicated
yet,
going second cards.
But like, you have to balance your deck like that with math. Because if you don't, then you're gonna be calling it luck. Because it is luck at that point. You have to actually use like a math method, because if you don't, like I said, like it's just like you can't like want to be like, okay, like sometimes it is Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, it's always gonna have that factor.
Most of the time, if you build your deck with math, you will see good results. And like, especially against like what's going on now with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks and shit. But that's why I emphasize on like what I'm saying in the deck pro. I was like, I play these 13 hand traps for a reason. It's because like you need them to win going second. You need to build your deck.
And it's partially because the decks are so powerful because, like, now. They do so much.
It sucks. You gotta flood your deck with all these cards that you like. You don't want to be like playing. Like it's a little more inconsistent that way. Maybe, but they like there's definitely a good medium between the going second cards and the like the engine. But you have to do that to win losing die roll, because it's a 50-50 chance with die rolls. But you have to be able to win if you lose a die roll game one.
And and I think it's funny because like that also kind of brings another point where people talk about like, oh, you know, people will use a card like Maxi to kind of like be like the savior of Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, we wouldn't have to play 13, you know, hand traps, all these stuff. If
that card can stay.
If you let people like play the OCG, but a lot of times people in the OCG are playing 9 to 10 cards in their main deck, so they don't lose to Maxi.
That's crazy.
So it's what do you prefer, right? At the end of the day, I feel like I would prefer Maxi. You're just built different.
No, Maxi for me.
It's a 3v1, man.
Okay, I need to call the troops.
At the bare minimum, it's an upstart.
Like, yeah, but not anymore. It's not an upstart. It's an upstart that literally says, "All right, you're passing."
It's like, do you continue to do it?
What deck right now, this format, puts up a decent enough board in under, like, Nibiru? You have 5 summons of that, and then your opponent's drawing 5 times.
Yeah,
like, that just imagine being in that. Like,
you feel good if you resolve Maxi, man. That's for real. But I just don't think that card's good for the game at all. It would change it a lot, but I don't think it's good.
It would be a continental shift.
I feel like
cross out call by.
I feel like Flunder would be definitely played a lot.
Flunder would be
that'd be insane.
Flunder would be tier 0.
Any normal summon deck would be insane.
Geist,
Flunder.
Striker.
I can even see True Draco coming back.
I could too. Yeah,
like even with just like Maxi existing.
Because that's what I would be doing. I'd be playing one of those.
Prosperity plus Duality, you're finding Maxi. That's a problem. Like digging 9 cards deep, especially some decks that literally don't give a damn about their extra deck.
Okay, I'll give you this. It would definitely slow the game down a lot.
That'd be nice. Nice change.
But it depends. I guess that's like
it's just
like
player dependent. Like people's like the fast game, but some people like the slow game.
Combo decks are just gonna shove 10 to 15 cards in their deck to hate against Maxi at the end of the day. Like
Cross
I know Dan
out,
likes the fast game.
Ash,
called by.
What's like you could play like exchange. Like some decks are like really heavy combo decks are playing exchange already.
You can just chain Maxi.
Rip it out of the hand.
Exchange.
You couldn't chain Maxi.
You could take exchange.
Don't you have to wait till a special summon happens though?
I don't think so. You just drop it whenever.
You're just like, stay my phase, Maxi.
Yeah, you play around towns. So
true. Yeah.
Can't rip out the.
Another reason why I shouldn't come back is like if it said like at least if it said like when your opponent's special summons a monster, you could discard this card.
Minute, that's even worse.
It's been so long, dude. It's been so long since I've resolved the Maxi.
Oh, I miss it. Miss Maxi.
It's not as bad as Vanity's Emptiness, I don't think.
Yeah, that card could stay gone.
But
Maxi's way worse than Vanity's.
Oh, you're
bro.
all right.
Vanity's is a trap card.
Let's not
Trap
get into
cards are
this.
buns.
Let's not get into this right now.
We'll move on here.
Not
We'll,
getting into this right now.
we'll stick to this this decade because those cards haven't been legal since the previous decade, which I find hilarious.
Fair enough.
It stays that way. But the next thing I have to talk about here is, and this probably won't be too in depth of a discussion, but YCS Pasadena.
Last one.
Yeah.
Last discussion. Okay.
Yeah, YCS Pasadena.
Crazy.
First YCS announced.
I know, this is insane. dude.
I cannot
I've been
wait.
chewing my man Dan's ear off for years, or 2 years, but
For
I
years.
mean, it has been years, 2 years.
Well, pretty much, yeah. But I've been wanting this so much because I want to like my goal is to win a YCS. Like that is my goal, and I'm going to do that until I achieve it. And I have a good feeling about this YCS. I do. But
Yes, sir.
It's not gonna be this.
oh, it's because you're gonna win it.
He's
Okay.
winning it.
But-
That's right.
Dan's,
Yeah, but I
Dan's
just
winning.
I don't know. I'm
Gotta
just
have that
really,
good
really,
competition.
really thankful for the events to be back. Like, I mean, I just play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then like sometimes you're just like, why am I playing this right now? Like, I love it, but you want to do something.
You're
You
not
wanna-
working towards something.
Right,
Really.
yeah,
Like
that's the problem.
playing ladder on DV.
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
Right, like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
when
soul
You're
sucking
get-
sometimes.
You're getting clout for like
right,
DV
like even
grinder.
like your day job, like you just like work all these hours. You're like, what am I working for? But like you're working to get
to an end goal.
yeah, because you're trying to get a nice house and like save money and do
Yeah.
nice things, and like that's what you're working for. But like with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like I'm going to locals every week. Or
You're
like
gonna
every
grind
other week, whenever I
locals.
want. I don't even like. I like locals. I like it more now. But like that's not my goal. Is to win locals. You know what I mean? Like it's not my goal.
could
It's,
be
it's
your goal.
nice, but you know,
It could be someone's goal.
Could be someone's goal.
That's
though.
true.
Yeah.
It's just not mine. And
It's not yours, yeah.
I just like I really, really am excited about this. Like I've been waiting so long. Like me and Dan have never been so like more serious about the game until now. And like
and we're just like so much more grown.
oh yeah, as
Like,
players in general.
As players,
since
yeah.
the last YSS you guys might have went to, which was what?
Niagara.
Niagara, same here, yeah. I can't believe that it's been that long.
Yeah,
And then for me, before that, it was
2019?
Pittsburgh 2017
Yeah.
because I've
You
only
got a
been
hiatus,
I've only
yeah.
been to 2 YCSs,
Yeah,
so
It's funny because before Niagara, like I definitely saw like a big improvement in like my playing skill, but then like after these, it's like so much bigger.
We have
than
grinded a
what I
little.
thought.
We have grinded
Yeah.
like more than
Like,
we
we
thought.
have
so
been,
Like,
yeah.
much more than like.
Huh?
yeah, a lot of people
Like
who
more
over
than
the course
prepared.
of the pandemic have been forced to
DB.
play remote duel
For
DB,
me.
locals
Lots
probably
of it.
more so recently.
Yeah.
And people have just been like you said, it's like hard to like have a good, you know, a goal in mind, a good something to look forward to, something to like work towards. But now people have something on the horizon,
Pasadena is
and
the
a lot
goal.
of people
Yes,
are
it
gonna
is. For
come
me,
out
at
of the
least.
woodwork. I feel like, and they're really gonna
Go
like,
hard.
The title first, like there's never been. Look at it this way too. It's like a really cool thing. Is like there's never been this much time in between, you know, YCSs
Yeah.
since
Who
before there
knows,
was
yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably.
Right.
What was it? We're coming on like almost 2 years.
And it capped out literally the day it came out.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that insane?
2 hours.
I wonder how many people when they release how many people get in. That's gonna be really
That's
interesting
insane
to see.
because one of my buddies just calls me. He's like, "Yo, I can't even register. It's already capped out. I just got out of work." And I was like, "Yo, that was like 2 hours ago. It started. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Like what is it? Like 2,000, 2,500?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Like that's
That's a lot of
incredible
people.
to me. Like
I'm just glad that
That's like a
Alex
nationals
texted me
almost.
Dude, I
like literally
know.
at 2:59. He
Yeah, he
texted me,
texted
and I'm
the
just
group
like,
chat, yeah.
oh, I should probably
Yeah.
like get on the
Yeah.
site
That's
now.
wild.
Yep.
And now that they're doing this registration like this, have you guys preferred this process as opposed to the traditional process? Because they don't usually do pre-reg like this
No,
on lines before,
never.
where you can like.
This is unprecedented.
Do you think this is what
They're-
you'd like to see going
they're
on in the
not
future?
doing physical deck lists either. They're doing all digital deck lists. You submit
That's
it
got to be
an
so
app
nice.
for what?
for just
Like,
registering. Just
on
submit your
the
deck
site.
list.
Yeah, like what are you using for? Oh, use it on the site.
On the site, you can do it because
Oh,
I
okay.
already did it just to like have a list on there,
Mhm.
and then like when the time comes, I just have to
change
make minor tweaks to it.
Yeah,
But
Brave token.
it was we'll see.
Pencil that on there, little Brave token, little Phoenix Enforcer.
I hate
We'll
when
have-
things
we'll
come
have,
out like that
yeah.
formats.
plenty of time to test everything
Absolutely.
Mm.
But like I don't know, it's very annoying.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Deck list on there.
I feel you. Well,
Yeah, because I remember going to Niagara with the good old pen and paper deck list.
Penciling your stuff.
Yeah, and then I found out on Dueling Book you can
Yeah, no,
use-
I remember when I found that out. It was
It's like super nice.
watershed moment. You're like,
it's life saving.
Right?
Yeah,
I
oh
like
my
that a
god.
lot.
you ever tried to write number 38 Hope Harbinger Titanic
Yeah.
Galaxy
How
on your
about-
deck list?
How about every single card? Sky Striker, Afterburns, Mobilizing Gate, like
Yeah.
stuff like that is
Sky
wild.
Striker
Mecha
maneuver.
How about-
after-
Yeah, Mecha Armory.
Hercules
like,
base.
How about
Oh
when I
my
played
God.
BA and I had to type Malabranch of the Burning Abyss
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
a
bro.
million times.
Scarm, Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. Barfa, Malbranch of the Burning
Yeah.
Abyss.
Number
like-
81, Super Dreadnought Railcan Superior Dora.
Yeah,
Oh my
like-
god, like that's why like we're just calling it by what we're like what was it, Scarm? Graph, but like
Yeah.
there's a whole name, dude.
You don't want to line up like that one guy who put Shadal Construct on his deck
No,
list,
no,
and he
not
couldn't
El
play.
Shadal
He needed
Construct.
El
What?
Shadal Construct,
Or like,
so he had to play the links
The
instead of the
links.
or you could be
fusion.
like our good friend Johnny, who wanted to play Shared Ride, but was actually playing Mistaken Arrest and wrote Mistaken Arrest
Oh,
and not
see,
Shared
that's
Ride.
crazy,
no.
bro.
Because they look like exactly the same.
They do look very
I
similar to
get
quick
that,
play
yeah.
spells.
And then he just wrote Mistaken Arrest and he thought it was Shared Ride. And he was like, oh, it's not Shared Ride.
Oh god.
Awful, man.
Yeah, but it is good to see that it's back, and I thought it was cool to see because I remember there was those very early leaks maybe about a month ago where
Yeah.
people were looking at the convention center's schedule.
Yep.
I don't know what the name of the convention center is, but I saw
Was
leaks
that
on
the one?
Pasadena,
Or-
leaks on
yeah.
Twitter,
Oh,
and
it was?
they that showed Yu-Gi-Oh
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Championship
Like,
Series.
Oh, they like
Sorry.
deconfirmed
and
it.
they took it down
Yeah.
only to re-announce it.
That's what I remember. The DB grinder was saying that he was saying that like they probably just took it down just because they wanted to do it themselves
Yeah.
and like show it off themselves.
They don't want that to be the reveal.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Totally makes sense. So
Yeah, after 2 years
Yeah,
or so.
the grand return.
very, very excited.
But
to see
yeah,
that.
this is exciting. I
So
hope that like I get to
crazy.
see you there, Adam.
I really want to go,
Yeah, I hope
dude.
I get to see
And,
you
it,
there.
and it's huge because like I've only ever been to Niagara for
That's
like a
wild.
YCS,
I mean, you- like I
and
said-
like it wasn't even nearly this many people.
Oh my god,
Like
it's gonna be huge.
it was like
Yeah, it
what
is.
800-900 people in
Yeah,
Niagara.
for why Niagara?
1,000?
This is
I
like
forget what
2,500.
I forget what event I
Insane.
went to. There was like 2,000 people. It was either like nationals one year, or it was like I forget how many people were at the 200th, but the 200th was really
Yeah, and there
big.
was only, I remember there wasn't. I think it was like 1,800 was for like the 200th, right?
I think so, something
Something
like that. But it was
maybe.
really
Maybe I'm
big.
forgetting,
Yeah.
but I wasn't there. I've only been to 3 YCSs.
Oh really?
2 being Niagara, and which is local,
Mhm.
and 1 being Chicago, which
Okay, yeah.
was when they dropped Phantasm on me. I was like, oh, what is that?
Yeah, I've only been to 2 as well.
But like I
Yeah.
said, Dan, really quick, like you said, you've only been to Niagara. Sorry, you've only been to Niagara, because you weren't like as serious about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, now you
I wasn't big on traveling as much
Yeah,
at the time,
because like
but
you didn't
like
see a point, right?
not really, but like I don't know. My love for the game
Has
has definitely
increased.
rekindled.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I definitely want to get out and travel more, and even like if it's not for events, even if like I don't do good at an event, like the experience just
It was
traveling
fun.
out somewhere,
Like,
and
we're
like
gonna have some fun
and like
with it too,
even
you know?
like we're getting over to Pasadena early,
Yeah,
so like
Thursday.
yeah, Thursday. So we're gonna have Thursday
time.
and Friday just go do whatever, just
Right,
hang
right.
around
Friday
California.
pre-registration, but that's
Have a
fine.
good
And
trip.
it's wintertime. So
And
we get to
warmer
get
Cali,
we get to get out of the
snow.
snow. It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
That is true.
yeah, so Pasadena, baby, it's gonna be great. I'm just happy for events to be
Amazing.
back in general, like
So
not even just
good.
Pasadena, because after this, you know,
Who knows what's next?
Yeah, no, they
It could be
even
anything.
said this is just the start.
Yeah.
They even said in the comments, they said if you can't go, it's okay. We're gonna have
plenty
more
more.
events.
You going to Utrecht?
Oh yeah, I'm going to
Go to
Utrecht after
Europe?
that. It's
Go to
literally the
your
weekend
boys?
after, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going right after. I'm
Get your
flying
tickets
to-
booked to the
Right from
Netherlands.
Cali, I'm flying there.
Right to the Netherlands.
Right into Utrecht. Oh my god, it'd be amazing.
Well, I'm glad to see that everybody's happy about that. I mean, everybody's been waiting for so
Yeah.
long. I'm not
This is
going
it.
because I don't want to go all the way across the country to go to one.
You should wear my speed words though.
We'll get him on the next one. We'll get him at the next one, okay?
It's okay. I
Next
respect
time.
you.
We'll get him next time. But lastly, we'll go in here quickly, answer some podcast questions
Lightning
from our
round.
Discord. Yeah, we'll try to do these quickly here just because we're
Right,
about
we've been
an
playing.
hour, 15 minutes into this cast. So
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
So I want to answer some questions here quickly. Priority YGO asked, I think this was back in August when we did the last podcast, but he asked, I was wondering what camera would you suggest for a beginner with an $800 budget and getting into Yu-Gi tubing as a side hobby? I'd recommend this camera right here. This is a Sony ZV-1. It's a very good camera, and I think it's like $600 or $700 or so. Very, very solid camera. Does 1080, 4K, more than you would need for any Yugi tubing. It's great for vlogging. It's very small, compact, got a flip screen, all that stuff. So I would recommend that. And I also, thank you for the kind words as well. And then moving on here, will I dress up for Halloween? No. Funny enough, though, our locals is doing
Costume contest.
Are any of you guys really quick?
Is this tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, yeah.
You dressing
locals.
up? Are you dressing up?
I don't think they would allow mine.
The winner gets the OTS
Winner
mat.
gets an OTS mat, like, as a prize.
Are you?
I'm not gonna be dressed up at locals. No.
Fair enough. So, all right. So, how would you guys feel about if Konami phased out regionals? With YSS being capped out for safety reasons, and with the success and access of remote duels, why continue these smaller events? They're technically oversized. Locals and OTS stores can host qualifiers for invites. Also, there's less incentives for players, judges, Konami to attend/host these events. I don't think they should get rid of regionals.
Because IRL playing with physical cards
so much better than remote dueling.
So much better.
Why would you
down from an opponent and just playing some cards?
Why would you want to veg out in your
the
chair for
tactile
hours on
feeling
end?
of cards and their sleeves, your deck box, your mat,
and actually
rolling
at
dice.
the event, just talking to
Yeah,
people,
like
not just
you-
at your house. Just
No
like
technical
chilling.
issues. Oh, my camera's not working. Oh, I
Yeah,
lagged out
that's
of Discord.
whack.
We all
Yeah.
dealt with Discord issues and voice calls.
I definitely
We've
like
dealt with those
regionals.
issues. We've dealt with those
Yeah.
Discord issues.
I can't
Yes.
hand shuffle on DB,
You
bro.
can.
I
Man's got
can't.
like a
I
tweet
You
going
can
on.
press the
Yeah.
button. You can press
My
the
man's
hand
be
button.
doing that to
No.
cereal boxes at the store.
I
Damn, you caught
think-
down bad doing it to cereal boxes, bro.
I think we
Every
are all
time, it doesn't matter what it is, I will
Just
hand shuffle.
You get 2 phones, you can hand shuffle.
credit cards, whatever it might be. Yeah,
He's like, let me hand shuffle these.
there you go. So I think we're all in agreement. We do not.
We love events.
we
love
want-
events.
we do love
All
events.
in real life.
And I think a majority of the player base would agree that they would want regionals to stay in.
Plus
stay
again,
around.
just traveling. Like,
Yeah.
you just get to go explore the world too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. That's another thing. Like, you get to see things that you haven't seen before. Like, yeah, really quick. Yeah, like, it's like a couple bucks, But
Yeah,
like,
you gotta save
you
up for
only I was telling Dan, we're what 23.
it. Yep.
we're all 23.
5-6 years from now, you think we're gonna be able to do that stuff? You think?
Potentially not, yeah.
Maybe some people can,
I hope so.
but
That's
yeah,
my
I
hope
hope so
so.
We
too.
hope so.
But I'm saying, like, I think, like, living in the moment is really important because, maybe in the future you might not be able to do these fun things,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might go to a YCS like Niagara or, like, maybe, like, Pittsburgh.
close ones, but now you can't go to like.
But going to
Pasadena.
California, like, that's
Oh
a commitment.
goodness,
Like,
yeah.
if you had, like, say, like, you got a wife or something, whatever happens,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
More responsibilities.
Yeah, it's just tough,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just saying, just enjoy it while you can. It's here now. Just try to get as much out of it. Like, traveling the world's, like, that's just cool.
Not a lot of people get to do that.
Right, exactly. And that's
something
part of
new.
Yu-Gi-Oh! That's cool. Like, you get to play what your favorite thing to, like, get to do what your favorite thing to do is, and travel.
Travel.
It's
I
like
would
going on
love-
vacation.
I would love to go to Europe and go to
That would
Japan.
be so
That'd be
good. Yeah.
amazing.
Oh my
Just go to
god, yeah.
Japan.
Going to
Insane.
Worlds too, like.
Japan, too.
Boys are going to
Oh.
Paris.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right,
Yes,
next
sir.
question. What are some decks you want to play one day when you get around to it?
Or like one deck you've always
One
wanted
deck,
to play but
all
never
right.
have.
All right, I'll go first here since I think I have like a pretty okay
I have a
idea.
nice one.
Like it's like a couple, but I guess I would have to go with like. Do you have one? You said. All right, you go ahead and say it.
I think that if there's one deck that I would want to play in the future, it's like really expensive and it's not like the best, but like I would love to play it. Yup, it's Heroes.
I knew it.
I've
See,
loved
goody.
Heroes since I was a little kid, like the GX and stuff. That's what I kind of grew up upon, and I just like. I really would want to play like full power Heroes right now. That'd be so fun.
You're nice. Your Edinburgh's gonna look kind of nice. That nib
Maybe.
token.
Plus
The tokens do
Enforcer.
look good.
Plus Enforcer.
Nib
Oh,
token
yeah,
plus
true,
Enforcer
true.
now.
There
Fair
you
But
go.
yeah, I would if I could pick them up at some point. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Do you have yours figured out yet?
No, I don't.
Do you have yours figured out?
I'm just stuck in my ways. I've always revert back to just rank 3.
Burning of
Literally.
rank 3s.
I guess I would have to say like having, and this is like more tied to like rarity, but like playing spellbooks like max rarity. I think I've talked
That'd
about
be
it on the
cool.
podcast before, but like it's not the best deck.
Right.
It'd probably be Jowgen control, but like it would just
So
be
cool.
resolving an Alti spellbook of secrets to go search out my Alti blue boy, and then you run over your monster with an Alti power.
What's the quick play
oh my
one?
god, wisdom,
No, the one. The other
judgment,
one.
Fate.
fate.
That's
Alti
my
fates.
favorite. That's my favorite spellbook card.
The artwork just looks so
that card
good.
looks sick, dude, and it is sick. It's a good card.
So it's not a deck that's been out, but it's a deck that I like think I really want to like play when it does come out. It's the Fallen of Albaz deck, just like
the
pure
Albaz
deck.
strategy.
Yeah, and just like the pure like branded deck. Oh, it looks so cool. Like all the cards just look awesome.
Okay.
I don't know how good it's gonna be, but yeah, it's the only deck like I kind of want to like play.
It's cool.
It just seems really cool. I don't know.
All right, and then last question, because I think we answered the other two last questions from Blessed by Cows and Monado Boy. Monado Boy asked another question, and I've been seeing this come up a lot more lately. He says, ever played, currently play any retro formats? Examples like Edison, Goat, Plant Synchros. I've never played any retro formats. I wouldn't mind playing like Duelist Alliance format again, just because it's very nostalgic to me. So I wouldn't mind doing
We'd
that.
all be down for that.
That would.
Well, you and me had that had the one duel on DV. We wanted to just do like a throwback match,
I
and
remember
like
that.
and he made Patrick Hoven's list.
Yep, it was the Chaos Shadal deck.
Yeah.
And then
nice.
I ended up just making Corey McDuff.
Corey McDuffie's hat deck.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That is cool.
Like we both didn't tell each other what we were playing. We would just like pick a deck. All the cards can be legal. Like in this time period, just make a deck.
It was mad fun.
And it's so funny because I literally watched like the video of them dueling in the bar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
not too long
legendary.
before
it's
that.
just like
So
a good
cool.
vibey video, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's
Something
like
about watching those old like ARG matches or like that
Filler
era of like
series.
features, like
There's no
It's
feel
It's
like
different,
that.
yeah.
It
It's
does,
a
it's
different
nice.
era. It's really cool though.
Yeah. Like that I always thought I had this thought the other day, like even after the last Yu-Gi-Oh card is ever printed, whenever that day comes, and hopefully it's not soon, and that's what I loved about the spirit of like people that play past formats, because I've like seen more and more locals pop up where people like play Edison or they play Goat, like locals dedicated to those formats. Like it's nice to know that if you still have your cards, you know, people will still be selling cards, I imagine, at that point, even after Yu-Gi-Oh's dead and done, whatever it may
Probably
be.
never,
You
let's
could
be
still, you'd still can play with friends at any format, any point in time.
Huh?
You could like literally time travel with those cards.
Yeah, that's true. That's a
And I
good
think
point.
that's very, very cool. So that's why I love the spirit of people. Like I haven't played in retro formats myself, but I love the spirit of that, because someday,
It might
many
come
years,
down to
maybe
it.
30 years down the road,
Come down to
40,
it.
I could play
I could be
Play
50
some
years
Duelist
old. Play
Alliance
some
format.
Duelist
yeah.
Alliance format, play this format we're in right now. Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Always have that option
Yeah.
available.
Boys are gonna be in the nursing home still dueling.
Hell
Dueling
yeah.
each other. Oh
Bring my
goodness.
deck box in here right now.
Give me my deck
me
box.
my
I
deck
need some of my Necros of Unicorn.
Yeah.
My goodness.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap this podcast up. We've been going for about hour 22. So thank you, Adam, Dan, Colin, for joining me on this
no problem.
Always a
podcast.
pleasure
Great
being
time.
Thank
here.
you.
I appreciate you guys
Love
as
it.
always. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. This is probably not going to be on not Spotify, but SoundCloud, because only 2 podcasts fit on there. New count for every episode of the podcast.
Winner kills 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, okay. I just need to get like a sound bite of you saying that, so I could like edit it over this part of the video. Like right now, like open your mouth like you're talking, but don't say anything. Perfect. All right. That's all we need. And now I'm just gonna keep that sound clip on played over and over again. Just to spite you. You'll never forget.
And I'll love it.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up at the bottom of the screen right now. And as always, Winter Kill Silent. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Later.
Last but not least, a huge thanks goes to all the members that support this channel, but a special shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members, and they are Cadillacs84, Pony Start, Key Sitters, Tweeter0226, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys so much for your extremely generous support.